What if I told you that your entire reality is a controlled hallucination? Sounds crazy, right? In this mini-series, we'll explore the modern science of consciousness. But is developing a science of consciousness even possible? Science is inherently objective, whereas consciousness is subjective. Researchers have been attempting to explain consciousness for centuries, but the honest fact of the matter is, no one really knows for certain. However, developments in neuroscience and vision science may hold some important clues. The human brain has a remarkable ability to make predictions and is constantly forming its best guess of what actually causes sensory signals. Take a look at this image of a checkerboard with light and dark squares. Bring your attention to the two squares labeled A and B. Look closely. What color is A? What color is B? Well, would you believe me if I told you both squares are identical in color? Take a closer look. When the two squares are connected together, you'll see they indeed are identical in color. And who could forget the infamous black and blue dress, or should I say, white and gold dress? So you might be wondering, what the heck is going on with these images? But what you should be wondering is, what's going on with your brain? But how can your brain's predictive abilities actually shape your consciousness? Well, predictions of the cause of sensory signals create our actual perception of what we're experiencing. Instead of passively being on the receiving end of signals coming into the brain from the outside in, consciousness may heavily depend on an inside-out process, where you're actively supplying the imagery of your perception from within. In other words, we don't passively perceive the world, we are actively generating it. We consciously see what we expect to see, not what actually violates our expectations. But don't take my word for it. Meet Anil Seth, who aims to explain how your reality may be nothing more than a controlled hallucination. While this might seem crazy and completely outlandish to you, Anil postulates that perception must be a process of informed guesswork, where the brain actively combines sensory signals with its prior expectations or beliefs about the way the world is. In this sense, you're constantly creating and modifying an internal model of the world in your head, and comparing it with incoming sensory information to predict what will happen next, like if a certain checkerboard square should be gray or white, or if the lighting condition of a photo would make a dress appear a different color. In fact, you've become so good at making predictions, you're an expert at it and don't even notice you're doing it. You could easily predict what the last word will be at the end of this. If your brain hasn't exploded by now, you may be wondering why this all matters. Modern research puts our understanding of consciousness under a new light, where normal perception may be a fantasy that is constrained by reality. This concept can be difficult to grasp at first and has more of an emphasis on what is going on in our brain as we experience consciousness, versus the age-old question of why consciousness exists in the first place.